I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, Alon, if you don't do tshuva right now, you are the stupidest person in the world. I remember saying that to myself.
Welcome to the pod.
There was kind of one instance where there's two instances really. There's two things that I could now say that they were like the straw that broke the camel's back, the turning point. One of them was I was learning about Rabbi Nachman, and I was learning about hitbodedut and this idea of speaking to Hashem, because in Eastern philosophies you don't really have like a personal relationship with God. And so I was like, I don't know really how I feel about like speaking to God, like sfirot, olamot, reincarnation. Love it. But like talking with God, And so I'm reading this book, one of Rabbi Nachman's book, Hishtapchut HaNefesh, and there he talks about how even if you have a hard time talking with God, like that's also good.
Show up.
Right? And just show up. And so I had a friend of mine that I was telling him about like this, like, I want to like try it, but like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with it. He's like, well, you should talk to God about that. I was like, I don't even know if I believe in God. They're like, well, talk to him about that. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I remember I was living in a kibbutz, not too far from here actually, called the Yalta Shachal, about a 15-minute drive from Tzfat. And I was in this like I had my little place, and I was like, and I sat up in bed one night before I went to sleep. And I sat up in bed, and I remember just like opening up my heart and saying, okay, if you exist, show me. Tell me. I don't want to like, maybe, yes, no, like, if you exist, like, I'm open and willing. If you reveal yourself to me, I want to know that you exist. And if you do exist, I'm here for you.
Now's the time.
I'll do tshuva.
And you knew what tshuva is at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I was already learning, and I was getting the basic concepts down and everything. And I was like already starting to like, do mitzvahs, and I was going to friends' house that were like keeping Shabbat and things like that. I was just like, please, just I want to know. Yeah. I don't want any more safek. I don't want any more doubt. And it was like emotional. I was crying. It was like a big deal. And I went to sleep. Vehine chalom. And I have a dream. And in this dream, I'm standing in line. And I see at the end of the line, there's a little like dalpak. It's like a little like a counter, like with a window. And I see people are waiting in line, and they're getting this like package. And so it's my turn, and I get from this person in the window, I get a blanket and two boxes, 2 bags. Yeah. And I knew those bags were tefillin. In my mind, I didn't know it was a talit. The blanket was a talit. But I get this talit, and there's like these two bags. And I was like, I like started learning about what tefillin was, but I didn't really know like Rashi or Rabbeinu Tam, like I didn't know that. And in my dream, I was like, why do I need 2? And they're like, oh, this is for everyday use. This is for special use. I was like, okay. And I go out of the line, and I go into this other room, and I find myself in this like huge banquet hall. And there are all these demons flying around everywhere. And I instinctively know, I run outside, I put on the talit, I put on the special tefillin, and I run back into the banquet hall, and I'm like flying now around, like battling these demons.
Wow.
That's the dream.
That's a pretty cool dream.
That's the dream. Hold on.
What do they have on this kibbutz?
Yeah,
What were they growing on this kibbutz, Rabbi?
and that's my dream. And I wake up the next morning, I was like, that was weird. But I didn't think too much of it after that.
Chalom shavi daber.
Yeah. So about a week later, my mom calls me. And she's like, she's still living in California, in Los Angeles. And she's like, look, I understand, you're in Israel, and you're getting into Judaism, you're learning. And I spoke to one of the Chabad rabbis here, and he says it's a good idea if I buy you tefillin. She says, give me the address. I want to send you tefillin. I said, okay, you want to send me tefillin? Fine, send me tefillin. So she sends me tefillin. Fast forward 3 weeks later, I'm coming back from the Doal. It's like the post office in the kibbutz there, central post office, with my care package from mom with my tefillin. And so I walk back into my house and I'm opening up the care package. I'm opening up the couch and I take out the bag with this tefillin. I put it on my table. As soon as I put it on the table, there's a knock at the door. I open the door and it's my father. Okay. My father and my mother had been divorced for many, many years. He actually moved back to Israel. He was living in Tel Aviv. And I was like, Abba, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, me and my girlfriend, we were traveling in the north.
No call, no nothing?
No call, no nothing. We were traveling in the north and we wanted to drop by and say hi. I said, wow, please come on in. Sit down. I'll make you a cup of coffee. They sit down and she says, no. Tell him. And he says, look, the reason why we actually came by is that we wanted to give you a gift. And they open up the bag and they put another box of tefillin.
Interesting timing.
Yeah. And I'm here and I'm sitting down and I see these 2 bags of tefillin in front of me. And I remember thinking to myself, I try to keep my composure because like my father's and everything. But like, I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, Lon, if you don't do tshuva right now, you are the stupidest person in the world. I remember saying that to myself. And that was it. That was already, I was like, okay, I'm on board.
Great.